evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and I'm your host, Ellie, and it's trivia night. And of course, I got some really cool trivia ready for you, some 4th of July trivia. And not only that, but we have riddles trivia kind of thing. I ran this a little bit this last week, and I decided I'd run it tonight so you guys could kind of see it the way it's supposed to be. Susan knows about it. It was her idea. So if y'all don't like it, it's her fault. So good evening to Karen and Susan. And boy, we have a lot of really good news. Another man, it looks like, was charged with making terroristic threat toward um, the Supreme Court, but he gets released. Um, uh, you know, um, but we're looking at a justice system that is failing us right now. Well, I'm all stuffed up. Um, so bear with me. Um, a Texas man who allegedly threatened the Supreme Court after it was overturned. Uh, Ruling was set free on bail one day after he was charged with making terroristic threats. The police department of Colony, Texas, revealed the arrest Friday, a week after it took place. Uh, the Colony Police Department was contacted by the FBI regarding online threats of violence towards the Supreme Court. The subject, suspected of making the Twitter threats, was believed to reside in Colony, the police said in a release on their website. The police said they responded with a search of the residence and was believed to reside, but the subject was not initially located. The conjunction with the FBI detectives of the Colony Police Department Criminal Investigation Division conducted an investigation and obtained probable cause for an arrest. Officers went back to the subject's residence, located the subject, and placed him under arrest for terroristic threatening. Although the police did not name the suspect in the release, it identified him as Mikhail Archibald. He was 20 years old. He was arrested and charged Saturday, June 25th, according to news reports. One day later, he was freed from Denton County Jail after posting $25,000 bond. The suspect's since deleted tweet came hours after the controversial ruling. I'm gonna kill everyone in the Supreme Court with my AK-47, the tweet said. Last month, um, an armed California man was arrested in the Supreme Court Brett Kavanaugh neighborhood in Maryland, allegedly to plan to kill him. And this was Rosk. He was 26 years old of Simi Valley. He was charged with attempted murder of the Supreme Court, according to the Washington Post. Um, the family in West Caldwell, New Jersey, received hate mail because the Supreme Court Justice Alito once lived there, and the former address was posted online to help abortion advocates harass all of the Supreme Court justices. Well, they ought to be charging the people that are sending this information out. Um, just uh, See, now that's two though, Karen. Now this is the second one, and the first one I believe is still under in jail being held. The other one got out on $25,000 bail. And then look at all they're giving addresses out, and they're getting. You know what got me was when I heard the protesters got a hold of where Amy Cohen Barrett, where her kids went to school, and they were going to go there too. Crazy mental people. No, something's not right. Because they wouldn't like it if that happened to them. That's just how I look at it. If you reverse it around, how would the protesters like it if a bunch of mean adults showed up at their kids' school after their kids? Probably be very angry. But see, they don't think of it that way. They only think of it as, they're going to go after someone they don't like. I don't know. They might like it. They might like their kids being harassed. So, oh yeah, I am too, Susan. Susan says she's tired of this administration. Yeah, every day they do something worse. Yeah, that's what gets me. Every day they do. It's like, well, they couldn't get much worse, and then you look at the news the following day, and you're like, yeah, they did something worse. They did something worse. The dumb thing is, Biden keeps letting the cat out of the bag, and the next one, next report I got with the Western Journal is Biden's advisor let the cat out of the bag, talking liberal world order. And now Biden mentioned it briefly, and then his advisor went on CNN and MSNBC and backed it up. So yeah, they got worse. They got worse, and which led, I believe, the former top advisor to Obama, David Axelrod, I believe. He says all of this is just crazy, and Biden's not even in charge anymore. So now we have his Obama top advisor saying that he's not in charge anymore. Now they're talking liberal world order. Uh, yeah, how much worse can this get? Uh, let's see if I can get a little bit more from this. Um, Axelrod was on with Jake Tapper on Thursday. Um, the first question that pops into his mind is, does Obama have is Obama blessing this? And it's hard to imagine that Axelrod on CNN commentator would criticize the Democrat parties. But see, we're getting a lot of the Democrats, the moderates, that are condemning the liberal part of the Democrat Party. How long does this guy want to work at CNN? Because if he keeps spouting like this, he's bound to upset some folks at the leaning network. Um, but you can't. You just there's a certain point where the lies are just so obvious, you just can't lie anymore. And it's true that no one can control inflation, but they could certainly make the problem a lot worse by spending, and that's what they're doing. They have this. It's like a teenager with their mom and dad's credit card. They're out of control. They include mega bills like 1 trillion infrastructure bill, 1.9 American trillion, 1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. Um, then they had the one for the pandemic relief. Um, I think you go. I think this has something to do with inflation. They're like, no, no, it's Putin, it's Putin. So don't forget that Biden wanted to spend more, $5 trillion more on the Build Back Better bill, and because he couldn't get the votes on it. So imagine how worse inflation might be right now if they would have passed that, and Pelosi would have. Um, this is a Biden's monstrous agenda, and this is bigger than the New Deal or the Build Back Better deal. Um, Never in history has so much been spent at one time, uh, and we're even talking things are so bad it goes back. No one's done this bad since I think like 1870s. Um, and they're also talking about the filibuster, and now I don't think they even got the vote on that anymore. It's all over this abortion bill, and people, these young women are still going to be able to get an abortion. The problem is they feel like their rights have been uh, um, invaded. And when they get fed wrong information and they're being told that you know they're no longer going to be able to have their rights, and then they don't say anything. I'm yelling at the phone because I can't. Karen's yelling at her phone. You got spam callers, huh? So, the thing with this is Axelrod is saying this. He's the one that's going, was an Obama official, and he worked with Joe Biden. So, he's got to be talking to them and saying, what you're doing is really, really bad. Um, but of course, no, no, they're not. Um, uh, yeah, but you know what, Karen? You, the thing about it, Karen, is you got to almost laugh at these people for being so stupid. Um, that's how I'm starting to feel. It's like, yeah, how much worse can they get? But then how much worse can they embarrass themselves of not being businesslike to where they even understand that if you spend more money, you got to pay it back. See, that's I don't understand. Is everybody knows that concept? If you got a credit card and you spend, you got to pay it back. And if you spend more than your limit, by hundreds and or thousands of dollars, your payment is going to go up. Well, they don't. They don't see that. They just are. They're either don't see that or they're ignoring it, and either way, it makes them look bad. So, you know what, Karen? Just laugh at them that they're writing hot checks and they know it, and eventually they're going to have to pay for it. Um, well, I mean, we're going to pay for it, but they are going to end up paying for this in the long run because how much of it's illegal that they're doing, and we just have to get on the GOP and the legislators and tell them they got to charge these people. They have got to get in and they have got to do something about these guys when they got the power. No more just sitting back. That's the one thing that irritated me with Obama was during the Obama years, the GOP never really put anything forward to do anything. And we have got to get people in there that have got to make the changes. Um, no cursey words. All right. Um, so they did mention the liberal world order, and that's what I've been trying to tell you guys is this great reset and the one world order, but and a revolution. And you guys are slowly starting to catch on to all of this. And I'll be getting further into the revolution part. I did a little bit on David Hodges' show, but I really think you guys need to totally understand where the Democrats are going with this because it's a plan. And if we know the plan, we can interrupt that plan. We just have to know what they're doing and how they're going to go about this. And we can stop this. We could stop them um, by knowing what they're going to do and what their next move is. So, liberal world order, yes, exactly. It means, well, welcome watching trains go by. We're going to throw you up on the board. We have a new viewer. It's easy to spend someone else's money. That's right. Well, they're so rich, they don't care. They just spend. They think that they can just spend and spend and spend. They can buy all the ice cream in the world and they think that we can too. It is really odd on watching NBC or ABC or CBS on how proud of this country they are and how they say it's not that bad. And so the gas prices are $5 a gallon. We could do this, they say, because it's going for the better. Uh, and you're like, oh, if you only knew, if you only knew. Yeah. So, um, I think, Susan, I think he said he wanted me back for more shows. He said he was going to do one on his podcast. He was going to have me on his show on YouTube and another podcast, I believe. Um, we just, me, I need more than an hour. The stuff I get and the stuff I'm giving him, I need, more than just an hour with him. I need probably 2, 3 shows. And I think he realized that when he's talking to me. So, and I don't mind. I don't mind telling Dave Hodges anything I know. Boy, I tell you guys, and I don't charge you for it. No super chat here. So, how about we play a little bit of 4th of July trivia? Now, Susan, you might know some of these now. I don't know about giving you points. I might have to give you a negative for knowing them. So, all right. Susan's like, what? Negative? No, no, no. All right, here we go, folks. And then happy 4th of July. This is a 4th of July weekend. Okay, figure these out. Now, these are um, riddles, word riddles, and they have a meaning for each one of them. So let's see if you can figure these out. We had them this last week. Okay, there's a man with a line with a board. What does that mean? That's our first one. Man with a line with a board. Um, does anybody know? Susan's like, Susan's waving her hand. I know, I know, I know. Uh, well, that's what, thank goodness, Susan, I was a history buff, because I know how, uh, oh, look at him. Man, watching trains go by, uh, jumping on it really quick. We'll get you a point for that. So, all right. Hmm, uh, Karen, who you fighting with? Karen's got this. We ought to call Karen standing with two fists and cursing. So we'll give her that Indian name. All right. So we'll go to the answer, and then we're going to go on with a little bit more news. I'm probably going to run out of news before I do trivia stuff tonight. The answer is man overboard. So, yes, if you said man overboard out there that are just watching, there it is. All right, what is this? R/E/A/D/I/N/G. That is a riddle. It's not the word reading. It's not the word reading, if you think that's what it is. It's a riddle. What does it mean? Um, You're a Gemini. I thought Geminis were lovers or something like that. I'm a Scorpio. Don't fit me one bit. I should be like, I don't know. I'm going to come up with my own zodiac sign. It'd be like the Ellie sign. And y'all can join me. So, all right. We're going to move on with the news. Um, Defunding China. Congress quietly bans federal funds from labs in China and Russia and Iran. Now, I don't see nothing about Ukraine on there. That's what gets me. I don't see Ukraine and I don't see Africa. Now, Ukraine, we have labs there, and Africa, the Clintons have labs. If they're going to um, uh, ban labs. They should do them all. They shouldn't just pick and choose the ones they want. And they don't want the risk of funding medical research at the labs controlled by Beijing and other American adversaries. Well, what's gets me is, let's see, it's a broken word. Um, you're not good at riddles. Well, come on, Karen. Just copy, copy, and take a peek at other people's answers on their sheets. That might help. Um, and good evening, William. So we had a teacher in school that used these in class to pass the time with us. Oh, these are probably the ones that she used. These are old um, trains. I'm sorry. It's a broken word. Do you think that's what it is? All right. And the answer is reading between the lines. Reading between the lines. It makes sense. All right. The next one is cycle, cycle, cycle. See, Susan knows some of this from the other day, and no one got them. I think it was too early in the morning. It was on my morning show. Um, so this the labs, William, what do you think? They want to the virology labs over in China. Um, they say intelligence fears that they have been the origin of pandemics, and not only that, but colds and flus that has been spread around the world. None of the funds made available by this act may be available to China and other laboratory located in the country determined by the Secretary of State to be a foreign adversary, including China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Um, it's like I said, we should do it to us too. We never know when some crazed person is going to break into one of these labs and steal something, break something, or release something. Um, let's see. So this is how that's my opinion though. But they are planning on doing this. They're planning on banning these labs. And the one over in China, and I can't say the name, it's not allowed on YouTube. And you guys know the lab I'm talking about over in China. And so that's one of the first ones on the list that they no longer want to fund. Um, and they said the House Appropriations quietly amended 2023 federal budget to exclude China's lab, in which U.S. intelligence fears have been the origin for the pandemic and other labs like this. None of the funds made available by this act um, and other laboratories located in countries determined. Um, um, the House Appropriation Committees has now put it through, and it has been passed. And it's a House Appropriation Amendment. It was 63022, and they. I'm looking at the document right now, and it basically says the same thing as of June 10th. This is going to go into effect, and it will be the countries I told you about. So um, let's see, I'm going to go down. Oh boy, just when I just read them all and now I can't find them because I'm looking too fast. Okay, China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, and others that might be added to the amendment or could be another amendment to include them. So there we have it. Boy, all right. Let's do the cycle. What is the answer to that? Um, and hello, Miss Linda. The answer is tricycle. Tricycle is the answer. Miss Linda, these are riddles. Um, it's a certain way they're putting words, and you'll catch on as we go. So cycle was tricycle. All right, and the next one. We have a knee with a line with a light. A knee with a line with a light. Um, let's see if you guys can get that one. I'm going through these pretty quick tonight. Um, abortion rights protesters target Justice Amy Cohen Barrett's house still. They were out there last night, in fact. And so they're asking that Congress and their legislators for Maryland to write a bill or to put into law that they can no longer do this. They're basically saying enough is enough. And this comes from the police department and the sheriff's department. Um, they were out there Thursday. They were out there last night, and about 20 people. They say it goes from 10 people during the day to 20, close to 40 at night. And they're doing chants like "F you" and "liar," and I mean that's just horrible. What they're I mean, if they were just marching with their little signs and banging on their little 5-gallon buckets, that's one thing. But this is getting very vicious now. According to the New York Post, members of the crowd carried signs reading, "Keep your rosaries off my ovaries." Yeah, that's the one they like to do. They have no clue what they're talking about. I think these people that do this And I've looked at some of these protesters. They're dressed up in weird costumes. They're banging on 5-gallon buckets. They have weird hats. Their signs are don't make sense. And I think this is some of the mental people that are roaming the streets have been paid, and that's very dangerous because you just don't know what they're going to do. So, um, while overseas this week, Biden blasted the Supreme Court's ruling, calling it the one thing that has been destabilizing the country. Um, so, you know, he's even instigating a little bit more as well as the Democrats, because when they're, let's see, anybody have this? Um, There may be more biolabs in Nicaragua. Earlier last month, the government. Well, let's throw your stuff up on the board here. Um, Earlier last month, the government of Nicaragua apparently allowed hundreds of Russian troops and equipment into their country. Now, I have not heard um, of any in Nicaragua, but since you're new, they had some in Ukraine that belonged to Russia, and they were old. They were old World War II and after World War II, and it went into the 50s and 60s. And they eventually, because they became so old, they went ahead and shut them down, and they became very. They were falling apart. And then when Ukraine took over, they took over those labs and they remodeled them and reopened them. And it was then bought by the United States. So um, uh, the 70s called. They want this one back is on. Answering riddles. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I think he knows all these. Trains go by. I think he knows a lot of this one. All right, so here we go. We're going to do this one, get the answer to this one. Linda, you might have to think. The answer is neon light. The answer is neon light. All right, on to the next one. Dice, 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 dice. Um, well, Karen said he's no Catholic. Get this. Pelosi had the priest come out to her house so she could get communion, and he still refused. And so she's getting upset. She wants her communion really, really bad, I guess. I don't understand her with this. Why not just go to church and get the word of the Lord and not worry about communion? You know, that's between her and him, and she can even do a communion rites at home. She don't need no priest to do this. Uh, Snake eyes, dice, dice. Um, You'd be surprised, Linda, what it is. So I'm going to move on. Um, World Health Organization warns of growing monkeypox and a threat in Europe. Now, get this. Um, I believe they're going to start doing masks in Europe because of monkeypox. I read something earlier about this, and they said Macron was saying they might as well put the mask back on just to be safe. They said monkeypox is starting to get worse. It's starting to spread over into the UK, and there's quite a few cases here in the United States. So just be very careful. There is a flu epidemic going on. I found out with my doctor uh, that's going around the country right now. It is not monkeypox, but it's a really serious viral infection. All right, boy, our new person's got lots of stuff. This might be harsh, but one way to stop PP from aborting, standing outside the clinics and play sounds of babies crying, oh boy, on the megaphone for the ladies inside. You know, what really helps is these counselors talking to the women. Now, sometimes they are able to talk them out of abortion. Sometimes they're able to talk them into keeping the babies or putting the babies up for adoption. But at least let somebody talk to the girls and see what they can do. Um, Didn't they have, not to be morbid or harsh, me and trains go by, we're going to be harsh together. Um, don't they have the morning after pill that they were doing? I'm not sure even what happened to that. Where's William? He's not even answering trivia tonight. All right, so let's find out. Dice, dice. What is dice, dice? Answer is paradise. Answer is paradise. Um, put a C where that S is. Uh, Susan, you basically had the right idea. So, um, uh, well, you know, I don't think this monkeypox. I haven't called the health department on this yet, and I haven't called my friend down at the health department or the CDC. And when I seen it and talked to them last, it it wasn't no worse than the flu. It just takes it could scar. They're like raised bumps, like measles or chicken pox, and they do have like little pus pockets on it that raises it. And I think it would be really bad for babies because babies will scratch and could scar. So you good one. Um, well, like I said, Susan seen these the other day. She's the one that told me to play this, but I don't know how many of them she remembers. All right. Now, this is an easy one. Linda, you ought to be able to get this. It's mine with a line and matter. You guys ought to be able to get this one. This is kind of an easy one. So if you're out there in Facebook, put your answers below. And if you get enough right, we'll go ahead and I'll come back on Tuesday and, basically say that you won also if you get them all right. Um, Mask. Oh, well, I've told everybody about my whole idea with the mask. Um, the thing with the mask, folks, if you cover up your face with a mask, and this is what I was taught with Ebola. Um, you can't let nothing get infected. Nothing, anything that is exposed is considered um, dirty. So if you put the mask over your face and then you lower the mask, it's infected. The air, if they're saying it's in the air, then that mask is already dirty, and you'd have to get a whole new mask. But then with you pulling it down, then you're already exposed. So to me, there's no purpose for the mask. Um, Not only that, but you got your hands, your clothes. If you get in the car and you got your clothes on and you happen to throw your shirt over the top of your head to get changed, you've already infected yourself. It's dirty. So that's a good way to think about it. All right, so um, I think everybody got. Hey, Linda even got this one, huh? Where's DB? DB isn't even in here yet. All right, three men who are. Yeah, but so you guys can understand my theory to this. And I only learned this with the CDC lady over Ebola. And she said same thing goes with any pandemic. If it's bad enough that you have to cover yourself, then you cannot expose no parts of your body or clothing because otherwise everything's infected. So if it's outside like they say it is, if you're walking outside, then your clothes have it. So if you go home and you pull your shirt over your head, or are you washing your clothes in super hot water? See, we don't know this, and they don't say nothing about it. They just say throw a mask on your face and you'll be okay. So, hey, there's DB. It was a Pride Month. I'm done with Pride Month. I would rather be United States Proud Month. We need to be more proud of our country. It's 4th of July. Um, all right, so I think everybody got this one. Um, and the answer is mind over matter. Mind over matter. All right, on to the next one. Um, he's slash himself. He's and slash himself. No, so uh, yeah, USA, the good old USA. I'm proud to be American. Hey, it's 4th of July in 1776, and we should be very proud of our country, proud of our flag, proud of what our men have fought for World War One, World War Two, Korean, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I got my friend Ed that comes in all the time, and he's a veteran and he did fight in the war, and so is my brother. But Ed, I really um, I appreciate Ed because if you knew Ed like I do, you would appreciate him for his service during Iraq and Afghanistan. So, uh, DB, what happened to your hair? And not only you bald, but you got red hair and a red nose. You're going to scare the women in the room. You know, they're going to be seeing clowns under their bed for the next week. So, all right. Um, I do want to get into some of this news. Um, GATS introduces a bill to ban the IRS from acquiring ammunition. They did that last time. They thought if they bought up all the ammunition with the IRS, then there wouldn't be enough. And boy, there was a shortage on bullets. And it looks like they want to try this again. Um, Um, I don't know, Susan. I think it's just I think it's just exposure. I don't think it has to do with whether you're homosexual or not. Now, because the same way with AIDS, AIDS was more of a prostitution issue. It wasn't so much the homosexual community. And see, that's where, um, it got into a lab at one of the hospitals when I was out in California, and they found out it was a doctor that got it from a patient the patient wasn't even homosexual. It was he caught it from him. He gave it to the lab. The lab caught it, and it spread all through their lab and their even part of one of their um, I think it was like part of their X-ray department or so. It was something like that. It went through quite a few departments before they figured out what it was and stopped it. So there have been reports about that, Susan. So, um, yeah, I mean, it could be there. I've heard kind of on it, but I think it's just they want to warn everybody on this because this could be very hurtful to young children, just like measles or chicken pox would be. And what's coming over the border with measles and chicken pox is scary. Um, this is measles that we have never seen in this country, as well as chicken pox and mumps. Rubella is the other one, scarlet fever. All of these, according to the lady at the health department that I talked to, she said these are way worse than what we've seen as children, or what when I've seen as a kid. And so I'm old, so you guys, my viewers, might be a little younger, but keep your kids. Watch your kids. And not only that, but we had, I think, quite a few of the Democrat congressmen are definitely trying to push before school starts this CRT. And they're not even talking. Whatever happened to the flu shots, folks? What happened to the flu shots? Why'd they quit that? They used to make us get these before our kids were even allowed in school. Now it's like, oh well, I don't know if they don't care or if they duped us. I never could get one because I don't have no immune system. So, but yeah, tuberculosis is one of the other ones. Um, all right, let's get the answer to this. Um, the answer, he's beside himself. He's beside himself. All right, the next one. Let's see if you guys know what this one is. You might get most. You might get half of it. I need both parts. It comes in a two-word answer. A two-word answer. So, okay, come on, DB. You can get this one. I know you can. Well, DB, I got you in two spots on my list. How'd you end up with two little spots on my list? All right. Um, uh, Um, Biden admits, and so does Pelosi, the Democrats don't have enough to axe the Senate filibuster. They said this is just something that just isn't going to pass. They were hoping to, and not only that, they wanted to pack the courts. Well, they can't even get enough support on their. This is through Democrats. Enough support from their fellow Democrats to do the filibuster or even to pack the courts. The other one is they're trying to go through and change laws for each state on election laws. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get that one through either through in their states. Let's see. Well, Susan, our new guys might catch up to you. He's doing pretty good at this. Flu has been eradicated, don't you know? Huh? Let's see. We're throwing you up here a lot since you're a new person. With so much travel from place that cured these diseases yet, um, they're all bound to spread the flu. Um, it was the actual vax. They never called it that though. Um, well, see, I just remember the kids having to have it before they could even get registered into school, and that was um, my grandson. It was all the way from kindergarten through right about the time he went to junior high is when I started not looking them not looking at getting the info from us. Um, all right, let's see. All right, so we will. It's a backward glance. Backward glance. Karen, I think I might have to give you a credit point for that one, just because you had both of them. You just had them in the wrong order, but it still made sense. All right, so let's get on to this next one. Um, all right, death slash life. That should be an easy one. Linda, you ought to be able to get this one. Um, there's a Texas guy um, that he was sentenced for a jihad plot against Trump Tower. Um, and this happened, I believe it was this last week. And Merrick Garland's hyper politicized Justice Department keeps hunting for terrorists at school board meetings when real terrorism continues here in the United States. And a Gonzales County man was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison for conspiring to provide material support to foreign terrorist organization, the ex, Islamic Extremist State of Iraq, the Al Sham Syria, also known as ISIS. And the convict name is Molina, or rather, it was I don't want to give them. I don't like doing names when they do stuff like this. But it's Jalen Christopher Molina, and now it's he changed it. It's Abdur Rahim. Okay, so Molina Rahim Why do they always change their name when they finally get arrested? Accused of conspiring with the South Carolina man to provide services to ISIS by administering a chat group to share pro ISIS propaganda with instructions on firearms, training, bomb making, and white supremacists being the biggest terror threat in the nation. Um, so he was very clear. He said, "Let me be clear. I'm against America. America is his enemy." Now, isn't this what happens when you bring in all these illegals? Um, you know, um, this is what I was afraid of. I mean, we already have um, ISIS and terrorist training camps throughout the United States. I've done shows on it, and all over Mexico, especially for ISIS. And Boko Haram's got their own. And here's a guy that made it up here, and he tried to give people what it was. He planned on bombing the Trump Towers, but then he was giving these ISIS groups in Syria and Iraq and some parts of the Middle East all the info that they could to get to the United States, and then what are key targets for them to blow up. So. Um, so this is very scaring, and he was in South Carolina, and um, he said we stick together. We need to defeat them. We need to take a lot of casualties, a lot of numbers. I would hit places like that to send a message. Um, I really even don't want to get into all the list of where he said because it's a lot of targets where kids are at. Um, and that's very sad. So um, let's get the answer to this one. I think this might be the last one, and then I have 4th of July trivia for you guys. The answer is life after death. Answer is life after death. All right. So every Independence Day, how many times does the Liberty Bell ring? They ring. Karen, you and Susan ought to know this one. You guys are in Philly. Every Independence Day, how many times do they ring the Liberty Bell? Do we know that? All right. What are we telling William after? After. I think me and William's going to have a really good show come Wednesday night. Um, I went to Philly and my kids got to touch the Liberty Bell with my folks took us, my folks and my sister Peggy. And we took a trip out to Philly and then we went to DC after. But my sister Peggy made sure the kids got to touch the Liberty Bell. And I thought that was really awesome that she did that because my son, that was one of the big things that stuck in his head is that his Aunt Peggy made sure he got to touch the Liberty Bell, and she made sure he went in the room where they signed the Declaration of Independence. And that stuck in his mind for a very long time. So, okay, let's see what the ant. Well, I'm going to go one more news story with you guys, and then I'll come back to the answer. Um, in Arizona, or isn't that where you're at, DB? Arizona, they were calling F the fourth night. They were going to have, it's a women's movement, a women's march protesting, where they were going to have food. And they had these signs and they had banners up. And they had, not banners, uh, they put thing copies up all over the city inviting people for this. And they were going to have food and they had banners that say burn in hell. But this is a women's group, and they say they need to do this because the Environmental Protection Agency won't. And basically, even the media was saying, they're just throwing a tantrum. And that's what really shocked me was this was an ABC affiliate that said, um, they want to spread their white supremacy. They want to um, go after the people in Arizona, and most of them are Hispanic, Latino, Indian, or of color. And they said they're just protesting up the wrong tree. Uh, and they said they're just out there whining. So it didn't work because the people turned on them. And this was in uh, Pima County or Pima County. Um, and they said this is event would last through yesterday and then the big event for tonight and then most of tomorrow. Um, but it's let's mourn with F the fourth. And it was let's see, it's scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight. And um, it says bring comfortable shoes, water, lawn chairs, posters, and your anger. Oh boy. Yeah, that's just sad. That's just sad. Pima. Oh, so are you close to that, DB? But it almost sounds like what they did in DC with the other posters that they had up to uh, the anger night that they were doing, or a night of rage. There you go. All right, so here we go. We're going to give the answer to this and go on to the next. And the answer was 13. The answer was 13. The 4th of July commemorates which document? So I just went over that. So which document was signed on the 4th of July? So let's get rid of the F people. I've had enough of them. Um, Biden's Green New Deal increases greenhouse effects. Um, they say under they say it's higher now than it was a decade ago. And they said it was even lower under the Trump administration than it is now. In other words, Biden's energy policies have been a disaster. Everything they do is a disaster for our economy. And we have become more dependent on Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, and this renewable energy. And if you go back 15 years, and amazing, the shale revolution, shale, SHALE, not shell, energy pioneers such as Aherd Ham of Oklahoma, who drilled the Bakken Shale in North Dakota. The new drilling techniques or that it promoted, and the way he does it, and how they are manufacturing this during production is the cleanest natural gas in decades. And so, because it's clean natural gas, and it replaced the coal for number one, and this was going back 6 years. Basically, we led the world in reductions of carbon dioxide emissions, and our emissions fell 22% under Trump. And weirdly enough, it's increased steadily since then, almost 10%. So isn't that weird? So what do we, here they're cutting back and there's less oil, but for some reason it's more polluting. And I think because these other countries just don't care. So all right, I think everybody um, got this one too. So Mary's missing tonight. Okay. That was an easy one. So you guys I did it too easy for you guys tonight. And we have a new guy. All right, and the answer is Declaration of Independence. All right, on to the next question. Oh, I just lost my necklace. I guess the glass broke. Oh no, oh no. Well, I guess you guys got the answer for that. It was, how do you fold the American flag? And so you guys, I guess it's a gimme. Um, I guess this is a gimme for all of you guys. Boy, my necklace broke and it gave you guys all points. So I hope you guys knew that one, that we fold it into a triangle. And usually they do that for the veterans, and they do that for the wives too, when they take the flag off of the coffins, and they fold it up and they give it in a triangle. So, boy, I sure gave you guys the answer to that one. All right, we're going to go on to the next one, and we're just about done. Um, All right. What was the total number of people who signed the Declaration of Independence? Was it 13, 44, or 56? Let's see if you guys know that one. All right. So Russian forces, well, no, here we go. Chinese owned mines force African workers into unsafe conditions. And it's putting it more into a slavery type thing because they often don't even pay these guys. The other one is China has bought 300 acres in North Dakota, right next to a military installation. They did the same thing. They got a couple hundred acres in Texas, right next to a military, and that's what they're doing. They've been doing this for about 15, 20 years, folks, and they've got quite a bit. They bought up hundreds of acres in Nevada with the, and I've told you guys this before, with the wild Mustangs and the donkeys, the burros, and they were out there killing horses, and they were rounding them up and putting them into slaughter for meat. That's what China does. And so here's another one that where they have um, got a 300 acres in North Dakota, and they're going to use it for farming. And get this, no restrictions, because they are foreigners and they don't have restrictions yet, but we're going to put restrictions on our own farmers. Uh, I know Rindy's going to hit the fan on this one. Uh, but then Chinese owned mine forces African workers into unsafe conditions, and they're forcing children to still get the cobalt. And since they're under the age of being having to pay them, making them do it as a slave labor. So here you go. We got Uyghurs over in China that do that now. They're doing that to the African people. This is what I told you earlier, where China owns Africa pretty much for the most part now with the Belt and Road Initiative. And now they're going through the mines. The other one, they've got Australia. They own a lot of the gold mines in Australia, and they're putting in the Belt and Road into Australia also. So that now they're going country to country to country, and if they're not buying up on resources, like Australia, they're doing resources and then they deport or buy the sea land to where they could put in military installations, or they put in ports so they can use it for fishing or military equipment to get into land. So um, here's something I didn't realize: they get actual descendants of the original signers to ring the bell. Huh, huh. All right, did anybody get this one? So you know that, but see, that's China. China's and North Korea's like that too, and Iran is another one that does this. And these are the countries that Biden isn't going to do anything about. Yeah, or Congress, because look at how long they've been doing this to the Uyghurs, and we've been saying foul that they're using them as slave and they're torturing them, and nothing is ever done. They don't stop them. All right. And the answer is 56. The answer is 56. And Beth got that one. I didn't see anybody else. Unless, all right. What was the Statue of Liberty's official name? Okay. What was the Statue of Liberty's official name? We're getting down to the last two. And the part of the um, Germany, the EU, and they say even parts of Canada and Canada, Alaska, and they say the northern countries, Iceland, Greenland, they're all buying out all of the energy wood stoves, dry firewood, and dry firewood stoves. And Germany is the one that's doing it the most. And they said because they have to look out because of no gas coming this winter. Let's see, Lady Liberty. I don't know if that is that in Philly. It's something French. See, DB knows. It's not Lady Liberty. There's more to it. And I know I didn't write it down. Um, I think Lady Liberty is part of it, but it has a like a. It comes from France. Is the ones that donated the Statue of Liberty to the United States. They're the one that built it and gave it to us to put out on Staten Island. So I like that. No, let's see. It's the chick with the really tired arm. Uh, how many uh, how many decades has she had her arm up like that? It's stuck there, guy. Trains go by. It's just she's turned to stone. She must have seen the Democrats coming and turned to stone. All right. DB's getting real close. I better give you guys the answer before he gives it to you guys. It's real close to what he's saying in chat. All right. The answer is Liberty Enlightening the World. That is her real name. But then what we did is it was too long, and we changed it to the Statue of Liberty or Lady Liberty. So, yeah, you were getting close. You were getting close. Um, what do you think, Linda? Do you think it's a good idea we changed her name? I think we ought to at least protect her before these protesters um, go out there and do something to her because all the statues they're taking down. It's that one and a lot in D.C., like the Lincoln Memorial. Um, they even tore up the Martin Luther King memorial. They just ripped it up until they realized what it was, and then they went back and they tried to clean it up, but they couldn't do it. They ruined it. So, all right, let's get to. I believe this will be close to the last. I believe it's the last. Yeah, this is. On the Declaration of Independence, who had the largest signature? Who had the largest signature? Um, I know you guys remember seeing it. It's all, I mean, every time you see the Declaration of Independence and they show the signatures at the bottom, it's who was the liberty who was the liberty made for originally? I believe, DB, I believe it was made for France. That's what I'm assuming. I think they had a smaller version of it. I haven't, man, I would, my professor for my my constitutional class would really be kicking me right now because we went over that. Um, I believe it was made for France. So, all right. Was it Egypt? Was it made for Egypt? Am I wrong? I can't remember, honestly. So I think everyone got this last one too. All right, the answer is John Hancock. All right, and that was the last one. And oh boy, everybody in my house is taking allergy pills today. It's really bad here. All right, so we got Karen with 7, we got William with 5, we got Linda with 4. Trains, our new guy. Or is it? Are you a male or female? I mean, I would hate that you're a female and I've been calling you a guy all evening. That's embarrassing. Anyway, you got 8. DB's got 5, and Beth got 5, and Susan got 13. She got 13 right. So, way to go, Miss Susan, for the win. Let me get this all. That was 13. And except for it won't let me post it on the other channel. So I want to tell everybody over on the Investigator News Network. All of us are kind of pushed over on Investigator News 2. So if you're over there, you can come over here where you're seeing a little easier. Oh, I'm going to sneeze really bad. You got timed out. How'd that happen? I don't know. You did pretty good. You got 9, almost 10, right? So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Everybody's having problems with their bell, and they're not being notified of the shows. So be sure to re-hit the bell. Over in Facebook, we have quite a few new viewers. Be sure to hit the follow and the like button. And I think I sent the list of shows over to Facebook. And I forgot to put it in here tonight. Well, shoot. Um, and so please share. And we enjoyed having everyone play tonight. We had a really big crowd in here tonight. And of course, those that are watching, we thank you guys for watching us. You should have jumped in and played tonight. Hit the bell for all the notifications, and definitely share our show. We will be. I will not be here Monday night for Legends of Myths and Monsters since it's 4th of July, but I will be back Tuesday morning for the morning weather show, and then of course me and William will be here Wednesday night. We're going to have a good military show this week. So everyone have a wonderful 4th of July. Please be safe. And be sure that if you are doing fireworks, to put them in a bucket of water, folks. We think that's this is kind of what was said about my daughter's house, is the fireworks weren't out when they went in the garbage can, and it set her house and burned half her house up. Or they said there was a good possibility there was arson. So they didn't really have a true thing for the fire, but don't throw your fireworks in the garbage can till the following morning, according to the fire department. Put them in water and keep them there overnight. Keep your pets safe. Of course, a lot of them don't like the fireworks, and we don't need them running around your backyard or getting loose, because they say most pets disappear on the 4th of July. So you guys have a wonderful 4th of July, and fill the churches tomorrow. Go hit up some of these 4th of July picnics. Eat some hot dogs. They say That is the number one food for the 4th of July is an American hot dog. Uh, so have a good time and be proud of this country. And, even if there's a chance you guys could say the Pledge of Allegiance, please do so. Um, it's the 4th of July is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And to be proud of our country and to be proud of what our forefathers did for us. And I thank tremendously the Republican Party for forming together in the I think it was 1870s, to stop the Democrats from what they're doing now. Even though it's been a long, hard fight for our liberty, they still haven't been able to get one over on us. And that's history, where they wanted to do the liberal world order back in 1900s. They even tried to stick the KKK on the Republican Party in the 1920s, and they didn't get away with it. So be proud of our country, folks, and light a sparkler and sing God Bless America, because that's what we want. We want God to bless America. So with that, folks, we'll see you Tuesday morning. Have a wonderful 4th of July, and God bless. Bye bye, folks.